Come with me to carry a passion fruit into the end of the universe. This is Petit Planet, Hoyoverse's new upcoming game, which is a life simulator full of things to do and cute characters to meet. Hi, I'm Pi. Normally, I make Genshin Impact Serenity Pod videos on my channel, but I really wanted to cover Hoyoverse's new game, Petit Planet. This is not an ad, this is not sponsored, I'm just really that brain-rotted and excited. In this video, I'll give you a fairly in-depth summary of how the game works as of the second closed beta test, as well as my opinion on how things feel while playing and some speculation about what I expect to happen with the game in the future. We'll discuss mechanics, characters, and the potential monetization of this game. I want you to know that my opinion is biased because I've been looking forward to this game ever since the rumors about it became a thing, but I'll also rant about stuff I don't like, so don't worry. The beta is being tested on iOS, Android, and PC, and fair warning before we begin, these are the recommended specs to run the game on PC, but my graphics card is way older than that. The game still runs decently well, but if you see some hiccups in this video, it's probably on me. But I don't think all of these are my fault. I also wanted to add that initially I wanted to avoid comparing Petit Planet to Animal Crossing, but I decided it's more helpful if I do exactly that. After all, this game takes heavy inspiration in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it's pointless to pretend otherwise. So for the game's introduction, the protagonist is a human that gets pulled into Petit Planet's universe by being kidnapped through their phone screen. This just sets the tone of what to expect in this game. We are used to Hoyo games giving us lore with lots of suffering in them, but this won't be that kind of game. There is no gender in this game, you'll just make the character as you like within the limited customization options in the start menu. But later on you can make it more to your liking by unlocking new hairstyles, hair colors, eye shapes, eye colors, clothing, and so on. You'll be able to change skin tone on the fly, so you can do that if you want to, and for some bizarre reason the characters have highly detailed feet. Go ask Hoyoverse, I don't know. At the beginning of the game, you are invited to nurture a planet that has no inhabitants, and you get to choose which galaxy your planet will be from. As of the second closed beta test, you can only pick one of two, but I imagine this will get expanded in the future as there are neighbors listed as natives from other galaxies. I chose the Hexia galaxy planet because I prefer this simple look of it, but the Taffeh one looks very interesting as well. Have in mind that the galaxy you choose affects the type of trees, fruits, and catchable animals that are common in your planet, and also apparently changes who your second tutorial neighbor is. Everyone starts out with Yunguo as their first non-Loomix neighbor. I'll explain about Loomix in a moment. But the second one will be either Isaki for Hexia players or Msafiri for Taffeh players. You can still get the other one eventually, so don't worry. At the beginning of the game, the characters from a company called Loomix will help you get settled and do the whole onboarding experience for the game. The tutorial characters are Mobai, Elsasani, and Glenn, but as I mentioned before, you'll get two regular neighbors pretty early on. As you progress, you will also unlock Morse the museum guy and Trixie the newscaster, but for now let's focus on the starting trio. Mobai does a little bit of everything, but he'll essentially introduce you to key game mechanics like planting the tree that helps you mutate and progress your planet, called the Luca tree, and get used to the word Luca because they use it a lot in this game, and if your name is Luca, I'm sorry my dude. Besides introducing new concepts to you, he'll also be in charge of the housing services of the planet. He makes a mortgage joke pretty early on, but he will indeed require you to pay him for house upgrades. So far in the beta, house upgrades only mean making your one room bigger, but I hope on release you'll be able to get different rooms for your house, like a bathroom, kitchen, so on and so forth. Elsasani deals with everything to do with cars and traveling the Star Sea, and she'll introduce you to the Galactic Bazaar, which is the multiplayer hub. and also Starship Voyage sessions, which I'll expand on later, but they are probably the most important feature in the game and the one that needs the most rework before release, honestly. And Glenn has the main store. You can buy and sell from using Do, which is the game's currency. You can also sell crops to him at rates that change every day with the green market option, with the rates being different on other people's planet and depending on the time of the day. Sounds familiar? He'll start out with a humble stand, but as you progress in the game, you'll unlock a full-fledged store for him with more options to buy from. Additionally, when he gets the store upgrade, you can see there is a second floor in construction. As of the second beta test, this is inaccessible, so I can't tell you what it will be. After doing fetch quests, Mobai gives you the seed of the Luca Arbor, and once you plant it, you get to learn about the game's progression system. Luca is the name for life essence in this world, and you can capture it in a special jar called the Luca jar from doing quests for the characters. There's two types of Luca, regular Luca and Neighbours Luca, which you can get from bigger milestones in character quest chains. You use Luca to water the Luca tree, and the Luca tree will evolve and affect your planet. The first few mutations you'll see are that fish and bugs spawn in your planet, and eventually it unlocks a bunch of other things, like an entire beach section for your planet, the ability to grow crops, and a lot more. The Luca tree will also evolve to the point it can hold Luca fruit, which are spheres that can change the appearance of your planet and that you can switch on and off whenever you like, and are obtained from reaching big milestones with NPCs. For example, the very first one, you get make stars patches spawn on your planet's grass. This makes certain things about your planet customizable without even getting into terraforming. For example, you can get your grass to look purple, you can get constellations in the sky, you can change the way the water looks, and a lot more. Now, with the Luca stuff out of the way, let's get into the game's mechanics. But first I want to talk about the game's map, the strength system, and the backpack. The map in this game is really handy because it lets you locate all of your neighbors really easily, and you can see them moving in real time, represented by these cube-like characters, and you can easily check if you did your daily chat with them, if you gave them their daily gift, and also if you lost them, you can track them in-game using the Find Neighbor button, which will mark them for you. Your backpack is your inventory in this game. In Closed Beta 2, your inventory seems to be infinite, and I hope it stays that way for release. It has different sections to help you organize and pick out what you want to use, and honestly, it's one of my favorite things in this game. The strength system, this one I do not like, but I understand why it exists. To perform tasks that require tools, you will consume strength. You know, instead of your tools breaking, you will get hungry. Once your strength is depleted, you'll need to eat something to be able to use your tools again. You can just shake a tree to get some fruit and refill your strength, but the best option is to cook something to eat, because the dishes you cook give you more strength to spend than eating raw things like an apple. So it'll be a lot longer before you get annoyed by the pop-up saying that you're out of strength. I get really annoyed by this pop-up, but I understand that this gives more value to the cooking skill in the game. Eating dishes when your strength isn't at 0 isn't optimal because it doesn't add up with the leftover strength. You just get the strength value of the dish you consume. I'll expand on cooking in a moment, but first let's get into other activities. You can do mining, woodcutting, bugcatching, beachcombing, fishing, farming, cooking, crafting, tree shaking, gathering, and digging. Tools are accessed through a tool wheel that you can open by pressing tab on your keyboard. Mining and woodcutting have nothing revolutionary added in, except that the tool you use is the same for both. You hit trees or rocks with a mattock and collect the resources. Trees don't get destroyed from being hit with mattock, so that's cool, but rocks do, and they respawn at random tiles in your planet every day, much like in Animal Crossing. Here are all the tree kinds as of this beta. Trees have different special wood they can drop, but they can all drop broken wood as a common drop and tree sap as a rare drop, as well as inspo cards, which are the blueprints for furnishings and food recipes, and dough, which is the game's money. I have separated them depending on what galaxy they are from and what kind of special wood they give you. Peach trees, plum trees, and apple trees share the raw timber drop, and they can drop their respective fruit as well, except for the peach tree, because there are no peaches in the beta. In the Hexia galaxy, you start out with plum trees and eventually get the apple trees from the Hexia Starsea. If you do Starsea voyages from the Hexia galaxy, you may also find bamboo trees. They drop bamboo shoots, which can be used for cooking, and also bamboo logs for crafting. Fir trees show up in Hexia planets once you unlock the mountains, and they drop firwood obviously. And the peach trees I mentioned before also show up a little bit after you unlock mountains in Hexia. For the Taffeh galaxy, you start out with mango trees, which share a drop with avocado trees, the flame wood, and of course they drop their respective fruit. And Taffeh's counterpart to peach trees are flame trees, which drop flame wood and look very similar but orange. From the Taffeh Starsea voyages, you can also get dragon blood trees, which drop Dracania wood. When you unlock the mountains in a Taffeh planet, you can get baobab trees, which drop wood with the same name. Beside this, in either galaxy's Starsea, you can find islets with cacti to get cactus fruit and cactus fiber, and ginkgo trees for ginkgo wood. For mining, you can find two types of rock on your planet, a darker one that can drop stone and iron, and a lighter colored one with flowers that can drop stone and quartz. Additionally, both have a very low chance to drop Goldflux ore, which is the rarest one of them all, but it's a lot easier to get from mining islets in the Starsea because they can also spawn as Goldflux or veins in there. Bugcatching and Beachcombing are essentially the same mechanic, but they use different tools. You approach the insect or shore dweller and try to capture them, and you can enter a stealth mode just like in Animal Crossing and get closer to the insect without being noticed. Despite the game telling you to use the stealth mode, creatures don't despawn and they barely make an attempt to flee. I had a crab bury itself in the ground and appear to despawn, but they actually just reappear in a different part of the Beachcombing area, so you'll definitely catch them if you want to. Some have a special mechanic that you need to pay attention to, like the lobster that plays red light and green light, another one that is blind and hides in a rock if you make noise, and the mantis, which jumps from bush to bush and are the only bug that I've seen despawn if they don't have a bush to jump to when you approach them. But most bugs and sea dwellers just avoid you without despawning, and you can still catch them even if you're running towards them at full speed. And honestly, this is one of my pet peeves with Petit Planet. I get that it's a cozy game and it's not meant to be challenging, but the inability to fail really takes away a lot of the emotion of finding a rare catch. I know this is by design and they probably won't change it, but I'd love it if they made them despawn if you're careless. Being able to lose in some way makes things more interesting. Fishing is the same as in Animal Crossing as well, except that there are some fishes that will tag on the string and make you interact some more by reeling them in slower when the line turns red, compared to Stardew Valley's fishing, which is my favorite fishing minigame in any game, by the way. This is a little bit boring. For the rest of the fish, so most of them, it's the classic set bait, wait for the sound indicator, then reel, and that's it. Just like in Animal Crossing, as I said. Fish also don't run away if you sprint next to them or if you fail at reeling them in. Sometimes you'll find fish with sparkles, and if you catch one of them, its rarity is guaranteed to be rare at minimum. Also, both bugs and fish have varieties that can only be found on Starsea islets or on different galaxies. Farming in this game is decently cool. You get a shovel, and when you press T, you enter precision farming mode. From there, you can select what you want to plant and plant it without having to dig a hole prior to that. Additionally, doing that will allow you to also swap one already planted crop for another without issue, as the old crop will go into your backpack. From the precision farming mode, you can also quickly access your watering can, which waters 3 crops at a time. By getting close to your crops, you get a timer that tells you when the crop will be ready for harvest, as well as how many times you will be able to harvest it until the plant withers. If you plant crops in batches, you have a chance of some of them becoming plump versions of themselves. If you plant batches of different species of crops together, there is a chance they will spawn a strange crop which may vary in color or shape. There are also dream crops which spawn if there is a plump crop next to a strange crop, but very importantly, they need to be of the same species and they need to be touching each other so diagonal placing doesn't count. These special crops take the resources from 4 tiles, so make sure to put some other seeds around those 2 before they merge into one, so the final crop can occupy those tiles. Here you can see side by side what my crops looked like before and after becoming a dream crop. Their rarity affects the kind of dishes they can be used in and the price you get when selling them. If you don't water your crops daily, pests will appear and ruin your crops, turning them into stunted crops that are smaller, lower in rarity and sell for less. There is a fertilizer system as well. You put stuff in the composter, wait a day and get your fertilizer. The kind of item affects what amount of each kind of fertilizer you get, and I recommend using withered crops as fodder if you want some of each kind. For cooking, you have a cooking station and have 2 cooking methods available, recipe mode and freestyle mode. For recipe mode, first you'll need to unlock the dishes recipe, which most of the time is gifted to you by a character. Then follow the recipe with the indicated ingredient. Recipe mode also has the discover recipe button, which is pretty good because it will let you try combinations of ingredients and cooking utensils without wasting your materials if you fail at discovering the recipe. Freestyle mode is basically random bullshit go. You can mix any ingredient you want and you'll get to unlock recipes that way. I think it's great because this way you don't necessarily need to wait for the game to give you a specific recipe. If you know the right combination for a recipe, you can get it. But if you're worried about wasting the ingredients, maybe doing guesswork in the discover recipe part of recipe mode is best for you. Cooking a dish will increase your proficiency with that dish, and leveling up in proficiency will make the dish sell for more dough at the store. There is a daily proficiency limit for each dish, so you can only progress the EXP bar for each item a certain amount of times a day, and I suggest that you try to cap that for every dish you can every day, because some of the story progression is tied to things like the amount of recipes discovered or amount of recipes leveled up, and it would be annoying to get time gated because of that. This is one of the things I don't like too much, because the cooking animation can't be skipped and you have to cook dishes one at a time, which is annoying, but you're still expected to cook a lot every day. So yeah, that sucks. There are also different rarity versions of the same dish that give superior strength recovery, and that has to do with the rarity of the ingredients you cook with. Also, if you want more dough, amongst other things, you can do Stardash, which is Petit Planet's version of a delivery app. Basically, you pick up a neighbor's Stardash order on the app, then use the cooking stuff to create the dish, and then hand it over to them. It's not very lucrative, but it might help you from time to time. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they remove this from the game before release, because it feels a little bit pointless, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. When it comes to crafting, it's exactly the same as in Animal Crossing New Horizons. You have a crafting bench and craft furniture using materials given that you unlock the blueprint for it, which are called inspo cards in this game, and I think I mentioned them before many times in this video. The key improvement over the ones in Animal Crossing is that you can craft many of each thing in one go, and the crafting cutscene is skippable, but there is a catch. You can't do that for different kinds of furnishings. It has to be one at a time. So for example, if I want to craft 3 chairs and 2 tables, I have to craft all the chairs, then all the tables, instead of being able to craft all at once. Very, very disappointing. For digging, so far in Closed Beta 2, you can only get meteor ore, which are digging exclusive materials in spots that spawn in your planet once a day. You can also find meteor related inspo cards that way, but that's about it for this mechanic. And besides the main gameplay mechanics that I explained before, there are also plenty of other things to do in Petit Planet, which I'll get into right now. Let's start with Neighbours. I I think neighbors are probably the most important feature in Petit Planet. Right away, they are different from Animal Crossing's villagers, as they each have their own individual personality unique to them, instead of having personality classes like in Animal Crossing that they share amongst themselves. That being said, it is often the case that a neighbor's personality consists mainly of one gimmick and they base most of their interaction with you on that. For example, Isaki is obsessed with bugs and will mostly talk to you about them. Yunguo mostly talks about growing crops, and so on. But they do have backstories to discover and cutscenes that play when you do fetch quests to help them, so it's already a lot richer than we are used to in this kind of game. You'll get an app on your phone called the Starco that looks very similar to your character menu in Genshin, Star Rail and other Hoyo games, and there you'll be able to see stuff like your bond level with them, their likes and dislikes, a journey page that looks like a constellation, which slowly unlocks by interacting with the characters in various ways, amongst other things. As of the second beta test, the journey page only awards though, and I think it's very likely that this will change upon release because the reward is okay, but it's a little bit lackluster. You can also level up your character's planets in the growth tab of the Starco, which will reward you with furniture blueprints, dances, and finally their Luca fruit, which will make your planet look a different way if you choose to use it, as we have discussed earlier. To level up your characters, you need Archiboos, but we'll talk about them in the next section. When a neighbor moves to your planet, you get to pick where their home will be placed, and they start out with a basic hut with not much going on. Once you do some quests with them to help them pick out some furnishing, they'll give you a blueprint for their dream house, and you can talk to Mobai to access the Loomix housing services to accept their request and help make it happen. A donation box will show next to their hut, asking for materials for the completion of their desired home, which, you guessed it, you'll have to fill out yourself. Once you do, their house will be more thematic to that character in particular, and you'll be able to progress their bond to the next levels to unlock new features. Each character house calls for different materials for construction, but they all demand 3 subs, so if you get some early on, please don't sell it because you will need it. All characters have some features in common, but they always have a special trait unique to them. For example, once you befriend Yunguo, she will offer to water one of your crop fields every day, but this special trait is not unlocked on the same bond level for all characters. For example, Dorjelang's special trait is making you a hut every day for 150 though, and it gets unlocked right away at bond level 1, but Yunguo's special trait unlocks after bond level 5. Some of the bond level up perks you unlock for every character are getting a framed picture of them, the ability to dress them up and decorate their home yourself, and also ask them to hang out, which lets you control them more or less and tell them what to do around you. So talking to them every day and giving them something daily is a good habit if you care about those things. Characters also have strengths and weaknesses aligned with their hobbies, which we'll get into more when we discuss the Starsea voyages. Once you unlock homey decor through bond levels, you'll be able to decorate your neighbors' houses in the inside only, and they'll give you a list of things they want in their house, but you'll be able to add any other furnishing that you want as long as you complete their request. And depending on what rating you get, you'll get more or less though as a prize, and you can repeat this evaluation as many times as you want and redecorate your neighbors' houses however many times you want. I think it's pretty okay, especially because it's not a paid DLC or anything like that. Archiboos are small little fluffy creatures that you collect whenever you do any activity on your planet, and when I say any, I mean any. They come in different colors and they appear less and eventually not at all after you've played for a long while and exhaust their respawn rate for the day. The different varieties of Archiboo of different colors appear when you do different tasks. For example, the red Archiboo comes from mining, digging, and mushroom picking, the blue one from fishing, watering plants and beachcombing, and so on. According to the lore, they feed on vitality, so I guess they are kind of a parasite, but a cute kind of parasite, I guess. They are a FOMO factor to keep you coming back to the game, so yeah, a gacha classic. Also, the Archiboos collecting limit seems not to matter when you are on Starsea voyages, so that's another thing to keep in mind. The Momentfolio app is your archive of obtained creatures, furnishings, food recipes, plant, and clothing. As you fill it out, it'll reward you with titles for your profile and some rewards such as dough and furniture like rugs. It has a lot of information about animal habitat, the time of the day and weather in which they spawn and such. And also it keeps a record of when you got the animal for the first time and how many of them you've got, etc. The museum in this game is called the Omnigallery. Morse is the manager, and with each submission he'll give you some vouchers you can redeem for prizes by interacting with a sassy malfunctioning robot he has called Rufus. You can unlock exclusive furnishings this way, and they unlock depending on milestones. Rufus is the only clunker that I like in this game, and you'll see why I say this later. When you meet unlock criteria, Rufus will call you on your phone to let you know. Morse will also be the one to give you blueprints to have aquariums and terrariums at your home, so if you care about that, make sure to make some submissions to the Eco House. I think the Eco House is beautiful and unique. I definitely got a laugh about the fact that it looks very, very small on the outside. It's like the TARDIS in Doctor Who. It goes on and on. There are so many passageways and the exposition is super big, and I really like the style that they chose for it. Shooting stars and drifting stars are the equivalent of Animal Crossing's balloons and drifting bottles respectively. The concept is entirely the same, except that shooting stars are caught with the magnet and the drifting stars are always pre-arranged, so no player interaction there. You get various items from them, including inspo cards, recipes, and crafting materials. Indoor decorating is done at our home when you press the K button. You'll be able to place any of your furnishing here, with the exception of trees and stuff like that. With a button, you can switch to ceiling mode to decorate that part, and it's honestly a pretty simple feature that disappoints me because you can't place items diagonally in this game, and I'll complain about it until the end of time because I think it's intentional and they won't change it. For the rest, I like the interior decorating interface. I think it's okay, and I think you'll enjoy it too. I'm just pissed about the diagonal thing, honestly. The Epistolarian's desk is a feature, just like the drifting bottles from Animal Crossing all over again, except unlike the drifting stars we discussed earlier, now you can send and receive messages from other people. Honestly, I think it's cute, but I find this feature very forgettable, and I'd rather be able to send a drifting star into the sea instead. So if they remove this functionality, I wouldn't miss it. I don't think they will because they spend so many resources making the UI and everything work and the animations and all, but yeah, it's very, very forgettable. Once you unlock the Planet Maker app through leveling up your Luca Arbor, you'll be able to access it from your phone or by pressing K. In this menu, you'll be able to create mountains of up to 3 levels of height, create rivers and waterfalls to your liking, and also decorate with the furnishings or plants. You'll be able to switch your point of view through a layer system, with layer 9 being the one that lets you see the most. In here you can place down stairs, slopes and bridges freely, as moving them can be done whenever you like, and the same thing applies to your own home, your neighbors' homes, and basically everything except for the neighbors' hub, which is the main plaza, and the port for the cars, which is by the beach, and you get to decide where it gets placed, but it cannot be moved once you place it for the first time. The Planet Maker app also has a ground painting mode in which you can create tiles and paths however you want. There is a trim function to change the shape of the edges, which is very neat, but so far my biggest complaint is that different tile sets don't mesh well together at all. There is a clear division line between them, and it kind of ruins some ideas I had. I like the Planet Maker app the most, although I'm still pissed off about not being able to place things diagonally. I think I will complain too much about this on this video, honestly, but it's really aggravating. Funnily enough, fences work differently and they can be arranged to form a diagonal shape because the fences mutate to change shape and adapt to what you are trying to make. Planet visiting and receiving visitors. In Petit Planet, there are two kinds of multiplayer, the Galactic Bazaar, which I'll talk about in a moment, and visiting someone else's planet. You set up your planet's multiplayer settings by interacting with your planet's name sign, but you can also do it from the little planet icon on the top left corner on your screen. It's completely safe to leave your planet open to anyone because resources are automatically locked and cannot be farmed without your consent, which you'll have to give manually when players ask. Players can visit your planet even if you are offline, and they'll do so mostly to check your store to see what your green market is and to grab some items from the shop's daily reset. Speaking of which, there is a multiplayer shopping limit of 5 items per day, which sucks, and I'm not too sure why it's in place because you really annoy or hurt the other person by buying things, I don't think. But so far I haven't seen the furnishings going away when you buy them, so I'm not too sure. Visitors can also leave you presents which are crafted in the DIY table and left at the car dock or port. I don't know what to call it. And opening them will give you a random material. You yourself can leave gifts for visitors, with the options being mostly food and materials, and both stations are very close by. The Galactic Bazaar is the multiplayer hub of this game, which consists of a plaza with different minigames to play with other players. And it's run by small bunnies that look absolutely adorable, but they are clunkers. That's right, there is AI in Petit Planet, but it doesn't seem to be game assets like textures or anything like that. Rather, they put AI chatbots into the game. Regular characters that you see in your planet are not AI, but all the NPCs in the Galactic Bazaar are AI. In the main plaza, there is Sibilla, who runs a roulette that awards you some prizes if you bet on the right numbers, which you can also bet with other players or solo. There is also Aleo, who has 2 different games that run at different times of the day. One of them is a dance minigame, which I find decently fun, and the other one is a ponying show in which you have to talk to him to pitch a sale for your item to sell it for more value, and I didn't like it too much. By the campfire, there is Rife, and she does word games that you can play with other players, like chained words and stuff like that. And there is also Goodman, who doesn't have a minigame, but if you ever press B on your keyboard in your planet or wherever you are, you can ask him questions like a Petit Planet chat GPT guide kind of thing, which I also don't like. And there is a final bunny called Fela, who is part of a story quest to get your planet's neighbor, and also provides you with a selling rack to sell items to other players by placing it in your planet and dropping items on it. I don't have many opinions about this character, I just don't care about him. There is also a cafe in the plaza, which is a separate hub within the Galactic Bazaar that you can join in a private room just for you, or a public room which may have random people in it. There you'll find Nalo, which is the final AI chatbot in here that will serve you coffee and respond to all your messages. You can pick from a variety of drinks and even customize the level of sugar and temperature. The main attraction seems to be talking to Nalo for fun, so if you are into that, great, but it's otherwise pointless. Aleos and Rife's minigames award Bazaar Jellies, which is a currency that you can use to exchange for furniture, clothing, emotes, vouchers for the roulette, and other things. You can also earn jellies by doing daily bazaar tasks, which is a different kind of daily things you can do. And if you participate in events from Mini Corner, which is a sort of Petit Planet social media in-game app, you'll also be getting Udo jellies, which is a different currency that you can also exchange for different kinds of furniture and other things. From what I've seen, people mostly gravitate to the Leo dancing minigame and then Nalo because the cafe vibes are nice, but the Galactic Bazaar is my least favorite thing about Petit Planet, exactly because of the AI chatbots, but I think players seem to enjoy interacting with them in general, especially Nalo, whom I find is the most acceptable of them all, mostly because I don't feel like forced into interacting with her for currency. Moving on. Now onto travel footprints. Travel footprints are what I think will be the gacha currency. By doing everyday stuff, you complete travel footprints, so you can think of them as your dailies. You get rewarded with the Lumi currency, which are these yellow stars that you can exchange for items using the Loomix Smart vending machine. There you can get furniture, outfits, hairstyles, and so on, some of which are permanent and some of which change every 24 hours. I think this is the basis for the gacha mechanic because there are also some clothing loot boxes in here that have rarities and oaths, so there is that. But most importantly, you need Lumi to buy Lumia batteries, which are the fuel for your car, and that is necessary for the next activity we are going to discuss, the Starsea Voyage. Basically, those batteries are your daily energy that every gacha game has. They allow you to travel the Starsea with your car and dive into different planets called the islets that have resources inside. To start Starsea Voyage, you either interact with Elsa Sani or with your own car. You can bring 2 neighbors with you to help you gather resources automatically, and each neighbor has a list of things they like to do and things they are a little bit worse at or that they will straight up not do. For example, Nerina doesn't like mining, so she'll do anything but that. In the islets in the Starsea Voyage, you'll be able to gather resources by fishing, mining, bugcatching, etc. You'll also sometimes find treasure chests that contain rewards such as tree sap, which is very useful to upgrade your neighbors' houses like I said before, some dough, and sometimes even furniture if the treasure chest is of a higher rarity. So far, I have observed that the lower rarity chest seems to be the most common and respawns always, but the higher rarity chest seems to stay open once you already clear that specific islet that contained it, so that's something to note. Islets have a vitality meter and it exists to stop you from digging out every single tree and flower in the islet and taking it back home. Don't worry, this limit only applies to taking living plants with a shovel. So basically transplanting things back to your planet. If islet vitality reaches 0, you can replenish it a little bit by replanting a tree you took from the islet if you want to take something else but you already depleted it. Other than that, it'll take a daily reset for that islet's vitality to reset, but usually you don't want to revisit the same islet twice in a row, so it doesn't matter too much anyway. When you first start doing Starsea Voyages, your car's battery will only last for about 2 islet dives and then you'll be forced to return. But worry not, you can upgrade your car to extend the life of each battery by giving Elsa Sani Luca drops, which you'll get from some islets in Starsea Voyage itself. Once you max out your car's modifications between the extended battery and the speed boost that you can accumulate, you'll be able to visit between 4 to 5 islets for each Lumia battery you use if you are very efficient while driving. You get 2 batteries a day, so you'll be able to do 8 to 10 islets every day, depending on how you drive. If you are a little bit less efficient, then you'll get a little bit less mileage for your Lumia battery. Have in mind that you can consume your battery just by driving around the Starsea without visiting any islets, so be careful. The Luca drops I mentioned before are unlocked by finding them on islets. Sometimes they'll be hidden, in quotations, and you'll have to find them, but it's rather easy to see where they are. You'll also see how many Luca drops you can get on a given islet by checking the water droplet icon beneath its name. If you already collected that islet's Luca drop, you won't be able to gather any, so explore as many different islets as you can. That is a problem in closed beta test too, because the islets look exactly the same in the Starsea. There is no way to tell if you already collected the Luca drop or not from the Starsea, and they said recently that they aim to change this, so I'm very happy about that, but it's very frustrating and I have to vent about it. So through Starsea Voyage, you can do a really fun thing, which is if you visit one of your friends and they are from a different galaxy, like let's say you are a Hexia player and you go to a Taffeh player's planet, you can engage with Starsea Voyage from their planet and then get to the Taffeh galaxy, which will have Luca drops of its own, and you will be able to get more Taffeh specific drops, which honestly added a lot of fun and made me think about all of the galaxies that are yet to release. So that bodes well for the future of the game, I would say. If they keep releasing galaxies, for example, you'd be getting a lot of content every now and then, and I like the idea of that. Additionally, and most importantly, neighbors you haven't seen before can appear in some islets in Starsea Voyage. You can interact with them, and if on a Starsea Voyage you find their islet again, you'll get the option to have them show up on your planet. After finding them on that second visit, you can do a fetch quest for them, and that'll unlock your ability to invite them to stay on your planet as residents. You can also find repeat neighbors. Like, you can find Isaki again or Yunguo again because they go wandering around, and you can interact with them and they will give you like a furniture gift box that also seems to be RNG based. It's like losing your 50-50 or something like that. I'm not too sure. This is like the thing that confuses me the most about Petit Planet. I'm not sure if the neighbors are gacha or not. I'm very confused, and I'm willing to say yes, but it's a really weird kind of gacha. So what's the monetization in CBT2? For monetization, CBT2 only had the introduction of a battle pass officially, which gives you furniture and clothing based on a different tier of Lumi that you get from doing travel footprints called the Mira Lumi. But you can also purchase Mira Lumi with real money, so there is that too. To access the battle pass, you'll need to get Trixie to show up on your planet during the story's progression. Her and her companion Cuckoo can take you to the Curio Emporium, where you'll be able to spend Mira Lumi to unlock different tiers of the battle pass. Basically, it's a battle pass redeem UI in physical form. There is not much to this place, except for the fact that you can see the furnishings up close before redeeming. You can't pick and choose what to redeem. You must redeem tiers in order, even if you have enough Mira Lumi for something later on in the chain. You can repeat redeem the same item if you want to, but be mindful because you might not have enough Mira Lumi for other objects if you do that. Have in mind that normal Lumi can be gotten from the daily Lumi quests, but also they are sort of like achievements. But Mira Lumi can only be gotten from the daily quest. Now we'll get into some speculation of what I think the gacha will be for this game. Starsea Voyage is definitely a free activity that you'll get to do daily once the game releases, and I'm sure of that. But when I saw that leveling up neighbors unlocks specific furnishings, and most importantly Luca fruit specific to them, that made me think that they are premium things that you'll pull for. Or at the very least, I think Lumia batteries will be something that you can buy with real money to increase the chances of finding that neighbor that you really like, even if there is no gacha banner in itself. But the Starsea, like I said, gives very daily energy, daily resin expenditure vibes, so I'm not sure if the neighbors are gacha or not, but they feel very, very gacha product-like to me because of how important they are to the game itself. So you can give me your opinion, but I sort of feel like they are, honestly. I talked about this idea with other testers and they seem to disagree. saying that there is no point in a Neighbour gacha and that the monetization of this game will be clothing and furniture gacha, which seeing what's in the Loomix Mart, I tend to agree, but I feel like it's a mixture of both. Alright, so I wanted to make a pet peeve section so I could summarize my frustrations, vent a little, and it'll also serve as my video's conclusion, I guess. So far, my pet peeves with Petit Planet are not being able to place things diagonally. I'm sorry, I'm very annoying. I know. Not being able to skip the cooking cutscene, it feels criminal. Not being able to cook multiple dishes in one go, also very annoying. Also, something I didn't mention before is that the cooking mechanic also seems to default to your highest rarity crops sometimes for no reason. Even if you change the ingredients when you are making a recipe, the next time you cook it, it goes back to wasting your resources. Thankfully, this seems to be something they are willing to change. I'll show that in a moment, but yeah, that's very, very annoying. Another thing I really dislike is the presence of AI chatbots. I can't hide that this is a personal thing. Maybe it doesn't bother most people, but it bothers me. And I'm very glad that the Galactic Bazaar seems to be completely optional if you don't care about the cosmetics from the bazaar, which I really do not care about. So yes, that's fine for me. But I'm really disappointed that they are using AI. I really don't like it. I'm sorry. Another thing I don't like is that the Starsea Voyage leaves a lot to be desired. In the islet variety section especially. I want to rant about Starsea Voyage in particular because I was so excited at first when I got into it, but I quickly learned that this game is not ready for release because of this functionality. There is no way to tell what islet you got the Luca drops from before you dive into them. The Starsea looks the same everywhere, so getting lost and disoriented is very easy. The puzzles to get the Luca drops are so easy, it's either to say it's insulting even for children, and there is simply not enough islet variety. Not to mention, when I went into the Taffeh Starsea, I encountered a bug that made the islets show up as discovered in my map even if I didn't go into them at all. That bundled with the fact that a lot of the new islets were actually the same ones I completed in my Hexia Galaxy down to the puzzles. I don't think this game is ready for release just yet, and I hope they do close beta 3 or 4 or how many they need, because this game, it was very, very fun to play, but it needs a lot of work. Good news is they have also announced that there will be changes to many of the systems in the game, which I'm excited about. They will expand the load limit for decorating the planet, which I'm very grateful for, because if I make content on this game, it will probably be about planet decoration and planet building, so I'm very grateful for that already. The mini corner leaderboards will get eliminated, which I won't miss at all, and they have decided to make Starsea Voyage more easily navigated, which, thank you, that's great. But I also hope they build up on the gameplay within it, so make the puzzles a little bit more interesting maybe. Like, I know it's a cozy game and challenge is not the point, I get it, but it's really simple to the point that I feel a little bit irritated sometimes. They might also make blueprint sharing a thing, so I hope I get to mail them to people somehow, and I hope they also let us like mail people furniture, because I don't know, I really like the idea of sending my best friend a toilet if I want to, why not? And Archiboos might become easier to farm amongst other changes. I think that's a really good decision, because I found myself picking up too many of the white ones and too little of the colored ones, like the blue one for example. A lot of polish needs to be made before Petit Planet is ready for release, but I see a bright future for it. I don't think it will become Hoyoverse's best-selling game, but it will surely carve its own space in the cozy game community once it's released, mostly because it feels very polished and it will be free, so yeah, that's very much a recipe for success, I think. There are a lot of good things to talk about in this game, and I enjoyed my experience a lot. Even with how long this video is, I don't think I've covered everything in this game. there are too many things and I tried to cover them all, but I don't think I can. And the beta already ended, so I cannot get more footage, unfortunately. But yeah, I can tell you that I already miss my planet and my neighbors because I had a lot of fun, and that's undeniable for me. Every day I looked forward to seeing what was up with my game, completing the daily quests that I was given, even if they were silly fetch quests. I had a lot of fun, and I hope to experience the wonders of Petit Planet again when it releases. Thank you for watching this lengthy video. If you made it to the end, please leave a comment. I'd appreciate it a lot, because a lot of time went into making this video, like about a month, even if it doesn't feel like it. If you are new here, I normally make Genshin Impact Serenity Pod videos. If you are an old viewer, don't worry, I will continue to make them. But I think Petit Planet will definitely become part of my channel in some way, shape or form. I don't know how exactly yet, but I'm very excited for release. And once again, this video is not an ad, it's not sponsored, I'm just that excited. I know it's just an Animal Crossing clone, but I really enjoy it. Hopefully, after watching this video, you'll be prepared to play Petit Planet on release, and I'll see you out there in the Starsea. Bye. See you. Bye. You can leave now. You're free. Feel like a star in the Starsea.